Hi everybody, it's me. Hello, hi. Welcome back to our daily creative challenges. Lots of friends in chat. Say hello. We have Aaron, Katrina, our moderator Wade. We love Wade. Clarissa. Hello, welcome everyone back to another week of daily creative challenges. Yes, that's right. It's week 2. I got thrown off because we have someone from Denmark. Hello from Denmark, and Robzilla's here. One of my favorites. So excited to see you all. Today's going to be a lot of fun, and it is by far my favorite lesson that I have ever taught. I've done a ton of lessons, and this one is my favorite. We'll be talking about variables in Illustrator, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk a little bit, recap where we are, what we're doing. This is the Daily Creative Challenge, and it happens every single day here on Adobe Live at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And hello from Israel. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to get back there. Nice to see you from Israel. Thanks, Aaron. So we are doing the Daily Creative Challenge, and to get involved, you can do so right here, behance.net/challenge/Illustrator. Our friend Wade is going to drop a link in the chat, which is that way. I need to orient myself. Right over there, Wade will be dropping a link. And you can click to take the challenge, get reminders every day, and you also can scroll down and get these source files. Today, you need the source file. 100 million% you need the source file today. We are going to be working with grids, and we're going to be working with cells, and we're in Excel and Google Sheets, and I'm so excited. It's going to be so good. All right. Well, I turned into Mickey for a second there. That was weird. With that, let's go ahead and jump in. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching the creative replay in the future that isn't the first week in May, hi future people. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for tuning back in. This is going to be an exciting lesson. There's no extra homework because this is very dense today. So we are just going to jump in. If you've never joined me for one of the daily creative challenges, hello. My name is Andrew Hochradel. You can follow right there, hawk.co, here on Behance as well as on Instagram if you like. And if you haven't ever tuned in with me, we like to have some fun. We like to have a lot of education, but a little bit of entertainment, and we always have a theme to our challenges. The hope with that is that the theme helps kind of shape what you're creating, but again, there's no wrong answers here. There are only right answers and only exploration. So if you do something different than me, that's totally fine. Just try something new. All right, with that, we're hopping into our theme. Last week, we were doing showers because it felt right. And what's the other side of showers? Of course, it's flowers. So I'll see you in the garden. Well, we're back. We've landed. We've got our little Beetlejuice tiki mug today. We couldn't use a gremlin one because it would completely key out, and I didn't think about that. So we are here in the garden, and yes, that's one of my favorite bumpers we've ever made. And we are going to hop into Adobe Illustrator, and the reason that we're in the garden is, of course, we're doing flowers, but while we're in the garden, we need to make some labels. That's right. We need to make some labels for all of our different crops that we have. So in our source file, and thank you. It was a very fun. I went hot air ballooning this weekend, and so I thought, let's use that footage. So we had a lot of fun creating the last few challenges, and today is going to be fun as well. And when we're in our garden, we need to be creating some labels. And instead of making them individually, we want to make them all at the same time. So you can see up there, one for all. And our challenge today is to quickly create a set of garden labels using variables, and to bring in type, graphics, and backgrounds. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna blow your mind. So instead of just having one of these, why don't we have a bunch of them? So down here, you can see that I've already built out some vegetables for you. These different crops aren't great, but they're okay. They're not great illustrations, but we just needed something for the sake of having something. Now, when we're setting up our variables, there are a couple things that are very important that we need to get down right away. And you'll notice in this challenge, you're not going to be creating a lot. And usually in Illustrator, we're using circles and pen tool. No, today is strictly logistical, which is a little different, but hopefully fun. So you can create your own crops. If you're watching the creative replay, maybe that's your extra challenge to create your own crops. And from there, you're going to put them all on the same sized artboard. So the same sized artboard right here, they are all there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, Export, and Export As. And from there, I want to make sure that I click right here on our artboard and see down in this corner, you can see the number 2. That actually tells you which artboard is selected. It's also outlined in black right there. So we're also going to go over and see the last one, which is 6. So we know we're exporting between 2 and 6. Now they're all the same size. So we're going to go to File, Export, Export As. And from there, we are going to change these to PNGs. And the reason we're doing a PNG is because it makes it so that the background is transparent. So we want to make sure that that background is transparent. The way we set up this file, it doesn't really matter. But we want the background to be transparent so that it functions almost as a sticker. So from there, we're going to use artboards, and we just said we want 2 to 6. So we're going to type in 2 to 6 over here. And then we're going to hit export. We're actually going to hit, I'm going to hit cancel. You're going to hit export because I've already exported these. And from there, it will give us a bunch of files right here. So we can see we have all of our different crops. They are named just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll want to remember these names because they're kind of important. We're going to continue on. Okay, so we've got, let's just recap. We're going to recap a lot today as we go through. So we have exported our artboards using Export As. They are PNGs, so the background is transparent. And now we have them named just in a sequential order. They can be whatever names. It's easier if you do sequential. But yes, and yes, wait, here we go. Buckle in. So we have all of our PNGs. Next, here's what we're going to do, and this is very important, is we are going to look at the images we have, and we are going to need to make a spreadsheet. So I know, wild, right? I've come over here into Google Sheets, and you can see this top row up here. I'll go ahead and bold this for you. So this top row up here is the veggie name. Then we have a row for the season, then the location, the farm, and then we have the word @ image. So each of these in the first row are going to tell Illustrator this is a column that we want to put in, right? So just like you fill out a form and it has first name, last name, address, zip code, each of those are going to be a different piece, right? And yes, I know, can't comment, need to concentrate. Thankfully, this is on replay, and I'm hoping that you will watch a creative replay or watch us again, because this is one of the most dense, I think, lessons we've ever done. So the rows, veggie name, here are all the names of the veggies, the season, here are all the seasons, and the location, here are the different locations. Now, all of these will be on my farm. Thank you very much. And so what I've done is I've gone in and across each row, I'm putting one entry, right? And so this is called a form field. So we're doing one entry, and that is going to be a carrot. And the carrot's name, veggie name is carrot. The carrot season is fall. The location is zone 3, right? So we're just putting information across the row. And Illustrator is going to read that as one entry across the row. Now, here's where it gets a little bit complicated, is when we have this @ image, since when are eggs considered vegetables? I think that we're like general crops. General crop. It's an eggplant. It's an eggplant. That's my answer to you. It's an eggplant. So what we could do is with the images, we want to make sure that we know where the image is. So what we're going to do is we are going to come back to Illustrator, and we're going to grab one of the pieces or one of the variables that we had created. So we're going to go to File. Are you saying that we feed the spreadsheet to Illustrator, imports the files? That's exactly what I'm saying. So we go to File and Place. And what it's going to do is it's going to ask you for what you want to place. And from there, we can double click right here. So we're going to double click on this crops 02. And we double click, and then we'll click and drag out, and it will actually place that file into Illustrator. Instead of copy and pasting, it is placing this file. And what's interesting is we need to get the information for where this is. So we can come over to linked file, And then we can look right here in the linked file underneath. You can select it and then come down to this arrow, and it will show you right here where it is. So it has all of the things saved to where it is. You also can come into your Finder, wherever that is, and just right click and go to Properties. And it will show you right here where that is located, right? Right here, location, if you're on PC. If you're on Mac, I believe it's Get Info, and that will show you exactly where it is. So we're gonna need to grab that information and paste it right here in the image. So at image, you're just telling Illustrator, this is the location of the image that I would like to place there. So here we have it, I have it separately saved in my downloads into crops 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So it's telling the files to make sure that each of these fields go with each of the files. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's go ahead and jump in here, and we don't want to create a bunch of different labels. We want to create one label, and we're only going to do 5 today, but you'll kind of think like, why don't you just make 5 labels? You totally could, but if you're making 150 of these, it's going to be a little more complicated, just a tiny bit more complicated. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to File, Place. I'm going to go ahead and grab that first crop, and I'm going to put it on this document where I want it. So it's going to be a nice little square. So I'm going to put it right there, and then I'm going to select the background and just use that as a key object to align. From there, maybe I want to put a little bit of a white box behind it, and that way if there's any issues, nothing will look wonky. So we're going to grab a white box, and then we are just going to right click, and we are going to arrange and send backward. So there we go. We've got our nice little crop right there. And what we want to pay attention to is the box with the X through it. That is just telling Illustrator information is going in this box. So next, I'm actually just going to grab some of this type. And you can grab the type tool and make your own. But we're going to want to center align this. And we're going to want to look at the fields that we have and make sure that we have one for each field. So we know we have the veggie name. So I'm going to put that up here. We can just put name. It doesn't matter what type you put in this section right here. It can be anything because it will actually change in the future. So we have the name. Then we also have a row for the season. Then we have another row for the location and the farm finally. So we're going to go location and then one more for farm. All right, so if we want to, we can change the size of these. So maybe we have that. The location comes down quite a bit as well. And then the farm can come down here. Maybe we want to put one of these in Trade Gothic. Let's do that. And then one of these is going to be in Dunbar. Let's do book. There we go. So we've got a couple different pieces here. Let's go ahead and align these all to the center. And now the magic is about to happen. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go to Window, down to Variables right here, and it will bring up this variable. Now this is what we want, okay? So we want to go back to our awesome spreadsheet that we've created and go to File, Download, and we want to save it as a .csv file. And you can see in Illustrator, it's asking you for an XML or a CSV. It stands for comma separated values. And a CSV value is what we're going to import. So we're going to click on Import. Then right here, and this is in your source files. This is set up for you in your source files so you don't have to build it yourself. So we're going to click on Variables, and from there you can see all these different fields, right? Like, yes, this is exactly like InDesign. If you've done data merge in InDesign, this is exactly the same thing. So clicking on this, let's do that last actually. The name, easy. We have it selected. We want to select where we want to put something. Then we're going to click on Veggie Name. And then down here, you'll see almost a little like Lego brick with a gear. That is Make Text Dynamic. So we're going to click on that, and you'll see that it assigns the veggie name field from our spreadsheet onto the formatting and line of name. Next, we're going to do the season. So I'm going to click on season here, and I'm going to click on that same button right there. And that is making the text dynamic to bring things over from where we have been. Next, we are going to do location. We're going to do farm, super quick and easy. And now the big coup de grace. We are going to select the image up here, select the image that we have, right? This is that column that is at image, and we are going to hit that same button. It is going to link a file for us so that we can see it. Now, let's watch the magic. Are we ready? Are you ready? I don't know if you're ready. So now what we can do, check this out. We can click on this little arrow and it will change us to the next data set. Actually, sorry, we can set the data set 1. So data set 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So it's pulling each of those rows as a data set. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And so the first data set, if I remember correctly, should be our carrot. So I click on data set 1 and we have a carrot. It is a fall season and it is in zone 3. Looks good to me. And from there, we can scroll through using the arrows to change to different things. It will change out that image for us. It will change out the type. It will change out everything to what has been imported on those different fields. So we can keep going through. There we go. There's our egg. I didn't change it to eggplant, but we can after the fact. And from there, we have the bean, and then we also have a peanut. And you can see that it's changing the seasons, it's changing the different zones, it's changing everything for us very, very quickly, right? It's magic. It really is magic. I think it's like the most magic that has ever been. So with variables, you can create a ton of different stuff. And what I want you to do is go ahead and come in here and just make sure that you are formatting things correctly. So while you're working, you can actually do some pretty crazy stuff with variables, right? So let's say that this image in here, we actually don't want the entire look of the different, we don't want the entirety of the different fruit, right? Maybe we want to, or sorry, fruit, vegetable, or crop. Maybe we want to put it in a circle this time. So we can just create a circle in the background. And because we're using a PNG, we are simply going to send that backwards. Let's do something fun like that, like the sun. And maybe we want to add on top of it a little bit of dirt and dust. So check this out. We can actually use blending modes to create something. I'm just going to do a quick blob here. We're just going to do a distort transform. We're going to do roughen. There we go. And we're going to make some big blobs. Oops, let's do this. And then let's take this way down to 2. Oh, maybe a little more than 2. Feels like a good blob. All right, cool. So we're going to create some blobs. And here, these are going to be maybe dirt stains, right? And maybe you want to add some texture and you have one of Kyle T. Webster's dirt brushes. Go ahead and use one of those. But maybe we have 3 there, right? And what we can do, and yes, this is fantastic for corporate business cards and ID tags. What we can do is we can actually group these and we can multiply them down, and you can see that they are interacting with the egg underneath. Now check this out. As we change the data set, let's go ahead and make this thing in the back, maybe just a fun green. Also, got my swatches back. There we go. So now we have a fun green right there. So check this out. What you can do is we can cycle through, and regardless of what's in there, the shapes will all stay the same, and you can see that they're interacting still like it is with the corn right here, right? So variables are super, super powerful to be able to stack things and to be able to push them all the way through. Now, let's think, this is, okay, if you're gonna watch a creative replay and you wanna get crazy, here's what I want you to do. Okay, this is crazy. It's crazy. What I want you to do is create a sheet with variables for every single object on this artboard, right? So check this out. This right here, the sun that we can see in the background, right? We think, oh, that's just a sun. It's just a circle with a gradient. Maybe. Or maybe it's been variabled in. So check this out. What we could do in theory is we could create an artboard that is this gradient, right? Looks great. From there, maybe we create another one that we go into the gradient panel, and instead we want it to be a little more of a sunrise. So we're going to grab this. We're going to grab this color. I'm going to have to do this a different way. Let's see what happens. Illustrator's being a little wonky on me. All right. So what we could do is we could come over here. There we go. Oh no, it's not wanting to pull up any of the, okay, wait, let's do it. Okay, there we go. So maybe we want to do a little bit of a different sky. And from there, maybe we want one more version of the sun that's coming from a different angle. And we want this coming over this way, right? And maybe we want one of those colors to be this green. So check this out. What we could do, okay, let's get crazy, is in theory, we could save each of these as a different background. And I have about 5 minutes, but I'm going to show you this because this is super extra credit. If you want to take on this challenge, please do, but this is definitely super extra credit. Is we are going to have artboards for each of those suns. Looks good. We are going to export 7 through 9. So we'll go to File, Export, Export As, and we'll do suns here. And we'll just do 7 to 9. All right, so we've exported all of those. And check this out. Here's what you would do. Here's what you would do. You would go to File, Place. We would place one of our suns right here. And then we would take a clipping mask of a circle, right? Create a circle right here using the ellipse tool. And we would select the two of these, right click, and hit Make Clipping Mask, right? So. I don't have time to set it up right now, but this is your extra credit. If there was another column here that had at image, right? Maybe at image 2, and then you had your suns in here, because this is technically a placed object or a placed background with a clipping mask on it, you would feed in. So actually, let's see this. So you can see the image. Let's see if we can pull the image in here. There we go. So because this is a clipping mask of the circle, instead of bringing in our crop images, if we brought in our sun backgrounds, it would change each of these to be a different sun instead of being a different vegetable, right? So you can see there it's cropping in with that placed object, and it is doing that across the board everywhere you go. And so in theory, if we had linked this file to a sun instead, boop, you can see in theory how if we're set up in our variables, it would change out all of those different suns. So that is your challenge. It's a tough one. Try to create clouds, the sky, the sun, the sign, the colors of grass. You can create all of those things using variables and have each data set change to a completely new composition by just paying attention to using the variables as colors and then using the shapes as clipping masks, right? It's crazy, the craziest thing we've ever done, I think. So I'd love to go into more detail. Unfortunately, we don't have time. So go back and watch this one. I know this is a very dense lesson. Creative Replay is going to be great to come back to this one and have a lot of fun with it. I've created vector icon sets using this for different social media things, and it's taken me 20 minutes to do hundreds and hundreds of different variations. So super fun challenge. And if you want to get connected, you can do so right here, bit.ly. Oh, I matched the background. Look at me and my purpley goodness. Bit.ly/AI Discord. That is the place to be. And Jeffrey, yes, this fair warning may be very frustrating to work through. It is one of the most complex features, I think, of Illustrator. So it may be very challenging, but stick with it. Woo. Big cough. And from there, I think that we're going to wrap it up today. Make sure you go bit.ly/AI Discord, and then make sure that you go to our very special website over here, behance.net/challenge/illustrator. That is where you can get the source file for this. And again, you can follow along perfectly in the source file. It has all of the different artboards. It has the art exported for you, as well as the CSV file that will open for you to push all those through. You may need to go into the source file. Okay, you may need to go into the source file and change where these are. They are designated, I think, to my computer. So you may need to go in and change it to whatever that destination is. Again, you can do that very easily by just right-clicking on that download and clicking on Properties or Get Info. And then right here is where that info will be. Right, so right there is where the info will be, and then at the end, if it doesn't add the file name, just slap it onto the end there. So it would be all of this information, and then I would put on /crops-o2.png. So really crazy, really advanced. We stick with beginner stuff today, but we're we're jumping out. So go to behance.net/challenge/illustrator, grab the source file, and stick around because in just 5 minutes, if you're not watching this on Creative Replay, I'll be live again with my friend Peter Del Tondo for a new show called Imagine Branding. So stick around for that. We're going to be having a great time, and I got to go because I got to set up for that stream. So if you're watching Creative Replay, hope you're having a great day. Hope your Cinco de Mayo was amazing, and may the 4th have been with you in the past. See you later for another challenge tomorrow. Bye.